You're listening to Radio Kidnappers, the voice of Hawke's Bay. This is the program called The Wonderful World of Wardini Books, and it's our pleasure, as always, to have in the studio, taking time out from her very busy schedule, the wonderful Lou from Wardini Books in Havelock North. How you going, Lou?
I'm pretty good, Ken, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, but you've been flat out like a lizard drinking?
Always, yeah, but this is our busiest month for sure.
Good
so,
on you.
yeah, it's one thing to the next.
Think of the money.
Yes.
That's what I do, think of the money. Anyway, 3 more great books to review, and the first one is called The Last Wolf.
This is a lovely picture book. We always have a lovely
Yes, we
picture
do.
book. The Last Wolf by Minnie Gray, and it says there Red Riding Hood goes green. So it is a take on Red Riding Hood, and things are slowly revealed throughout the book as to why she's going green there. So she's got a pop gun, she's got a hunting hat and her boots, and she's got a little lunchbox, and she says, I'm off to catch a wolf. And Mum, in the apartment, in the house there, says, that's all right. I haven't seen a wolf around here for years. They're all gone. So off you go, Red Riding Hood. That's fine. You know, and you can. There are nods to modernity. Mum looks quite modern.
Well, that's a good word, modernity. I love it.
A nod to modernity.
A nod to modernity.
So off she goes, and she sees something. She looked behind a tree and jumped out on a bin bag full of rubbish.
Right.
And then she sees something else. They're all sort of wolfly shapes
All of
in
that,
the
yes.
woods there, and she pounces on a tree stump. And it goes on and goes on, and there were wooling noises and grabby twigs, and she panics and she runs and she trips, and she comes across a door, and it is opened by the last wolf in the land, which is already a bit, oh, that's a bit sad. And he's with the last lynx and the last bear.
Oh.
And there they are in their beautiful cabin in the woods. And they give her a cup of tea. She didn't know that wolves drank tea, but they give her a cup of tea and they sit her down and they talk about the good old days.
Yes.
When,
the
look,
good days.
they
Look at
just
that.
could rampage through the woods. There were loads of them. They had lots of things to chase and lots of things to bite. The world was awash with flowers and bees and dripping with honey when you could just lie on a branch and wait for lunch to wander right under your paws. The good old days.
I love this book already.
It's gorgeous, isn't it? And then they look at her and say, my, what huge... And they look longingly at her and she says, my, what huge hungry eyes you all have. And so she shares her lunch with them.
Oh, how
and I
nice.
really like this bit because it's quite easy to catch this sausage roll, said the bear. The last lynx chased the chicken sandwich round and round the cave until it was wounded. Yeah, and she's like, oh, I wonder how I can help these. And then that's why... Because that's the forest, it is very few trees surrounded by the city.
Yes.
So the city is encroached upon
Sort of
the park.
Central Park.
Yeah, a little bit. Central Park's bigger than that, though, eh?
Yes.
So they talk about that for a bit. They walk her home because it's dark, and then she starts to think about how she can help, about, you know, planting lots and lots of trees, and it's going to take some time, but maybe, just maybe, we can get some of that back.
One day,
so
Roger
it's,
Fitch.
It's a little eco-warrior book.
Yes, it is.
You know,
Great book, great drawings too.
just beautifully illustrated, and I think Minnie Gray's done all of it, the story and the pictures.
What a
so
talent.
That's pretty gorgeous.
Absolutely. And the next one is called A Madness of Sunshine.
Yes. So this is New Zealand author Nalini Singh, and she normally writes sort of fantasy romance with, I don't know, vampires and things in it. And she's turned to crime in this one. So in this, we are in the west coast of New Zealand, down south, and it's one of those very rugged, sparsely populated areas, and the police officer is the only police officer in the area, and he's very dedicated, and he goes and makes sure everybody's okay, drives up the drives at night and makes sure everything is okay. He's a bit of a tortured soul. He's one of those police officers. Something's happened at his big job in the city, and he's been sidelined. But he's quite happy to be there because his ghosts, you know, he can deal with them alone.
Yes.
The tough cop. So he's called Will, and there is a prodigal daughter of the town as well, Anahira. She's gone off and been very successful in music overseas in London, and something awful happened in her marriage, and she's come home, but she's got ghosts in Golden Cove where we are, and she goes back to the family cabin and tries to confront those ghosts. And at the same time, the Sunshine is this beautiful girl. She is physically beautiful. She is personality-wise lovely. Everybody loves this girl. And she's 19 and she's the one that goes missing. So the crime revolves around her. So Anahira gets involved because she's kind of like a distant cousin or something. And the cop is obviously involved with the investigation. But the cool thing about it is you meet all these people, like in a small town or like New Zealand in general, where you all know one another. And really, everybody in here is a suspect.
Oh, right.
And you don't know, really, right until the end, who has been involved in this crime and what has happened, and it was great. Yeah.
And is it a book about healing as well? Did they get rid of the monkeys off their back?
Yeah, there is a bit of that in there too. Yeah,
That's
so
good.
there's a bit of romance. There's some of them are crime fiction tropes, but I think there's enough originality in there that made me read it in 2 nights. So I
Really?
read it quite quickly and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
What do you do in your spare time?
What's that? I tend to take up time.
And our last book we're going to look at today is called People of New Zealand.
People of New Zealand, and this, I don't know if it was a Facebook page or something, so there for the camera is what it looks like. Fabulous drawings of New Zealanders, and I think we can all find ourselves in here. So this is by Sam Moore, and the first one that I want to show you is this Morning Bins Mitch.
Yeah.
There he is.
Yes.
And you get a bit of a description and you
We've
get
done
the
that.
diagram with the arrows to it. So Mitch's Sunday morning isn't going well. Firstly, it's actually Monday morning, and secondly, it's bin day. Poor Mitch was peacefully dreaming of his future breakfast of bacon and eggs when off in the distance he heard the repetitive acceleration and braking of a rubbish truck. I think we've all done
Yes,
that.
we have.
Oh
yes,
no.
indeed.
But it sort of points to his bed hair. Thought it was Sunday morning. Hoping this is just an extremely boring dream. Recycling bin. Don't tell him that it's red bin week. The cord around his dressing gown is the only thing between him and an indecent exposure charge. So they're all very funny stereotypes of people. You've got Expedition Mavis there with her stroller going out into the village. She's got large slippers for street shuffling. She's got a badly swollen ankle, poor Mavis. A little racist. And of course I had to flick through. We've got Park Stroll Ken.
Oh, that's me.
That's you. I don't know if it is.
No, I don't wear that sort of cardigan.
You don't wear the golf vest.
No, that's right.
You don't have your hands securely behind your back.
No,
Holding your real estate listings.
And I don't have one of those singlets that he's got on. What do you call those things?
That's a golf vest,
Golf
apparently,
vest.
in here.
What about, which one is you? If you had to pick yourself in
I
there,
was
which one are
Quirky
you?
Beatrix, but I'm not sure. She's got sort of like novelty socks
Oh, is she?
and a Tintin t-shirt, and the tote bag.
Yeah.
She's cut, yeah.
I love
so
that
we can
book.
all find bits of ourselves in there. I
Yes,
thought it was
we
a bit of
can.
fun.
It is a bit of fun. And of course, all those 3 books are available right now at Wardini Books. Where?
Where are we? We're 16 Tomato Road in Havelock North and 44 Hastings Street, Napier.
Lou, as always, our pleasure. You look after yourself. Talk to the same time, same place next week.
Cool. Thanks, Ken.